for the Simon Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees. We do have a quorum. Ellie has sent out the minutes, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to read them. Any questions or discussion on the minutes from the last meeting? Hearing none, I'll open the floor for a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the financial report.
So not a lot has happened yet this fiscal year. The only things that we have purchased so far and processed are books, circulating materials, and we've paid our network assessment to CWMRs. I did include in the back of the packet or in your email the same summary of last year's spending next to this year's budget, and a preliminary account summary for the turnovers in our private trustee accounts for the end of the fiscal year, which are not yet finalized because we haven't yet been able to reconcile with Jean. She's a little bit behind this year on in fiscal year turnover stuff. So I don't know how much interest we earned last year on our building donations or our R.S. Douglas or trust funds. So the carry forwards will go up, not down, hopefully, unless, there should be no reason for them to go down. But that's sort of, close to what the beginning balances will be for FY22.
Very good. You're good with it? Justin says not a lot to report so far. Director's report.
Before I do that, can I suggest that we move Dick Skinner up the agenda since he's here to talk about the...
I was wondering why our guest was at the end of the agenda.
It's new business.
Okay.
We ready?
Yes.
All right. I'm not sure how we get started in this, but Justin and I got to talking about handicap access to the library, and he talked about what the architect had done and all of that. In my lifetime, I have made models out of foam board, so I made one for the library, and let me tell you a bias that I have, which is I don't like elevators. They're expensive, take up a lot of room. They have to be recertified every year, and they have this nasty habit of stopping in the middle of nowhere and people on the elevator, so I just don't like them. So I designed it without an elevator, with ramps. And this is a ramp. Just to show you the scale that's required by ADA, this is a 15:1, and that's 17:1. Very little difference, but there is a difference. Everything that I worked on here is on the 17:1 scale, which means that the ramp is less and is well within ADA requirements.
Okay.
So we have a foam model. And I started off with several photographs. Start off with several photographs of the library building and the model that's added on there, which is to scale. This comes out to the parking lot, to the edge of the parking lot, and not in the parking lot. So you're safe there, but it does come to the edge of the parking lot. And if you look inside...
Excuse me, I'm going to stop just for 1 second. I'm going to ask Betty. Betty, can you move to your left just a tiny bit? And Kate, can you move your thermos? Because I just can't see what he's showing us. I'm sorry.
So what you're saying is Betty's blocking the
We
camera's view.
appreciate you being able to accommodate me having to be home.
Right, camera view. Get it over there.
Okay,
if you want
that's
to.
great. Thank you.
All right? So inside, we have access via ramp to the, I assume this was the library building, but obviously it's not. To the first floor doorway, there's a ramp, and there's a ramp down to the basement level. And there are stairs in parallel with those, so you can go from the door in the back, which is center in the back, and you go ramp up if you're a wheelchair, or ramp down if you're a wheelchair, or if you're a pedestrian, you can choose to walk up the ramps or walk up the stairs. So either one gets you there. As I said, the scale is 17:1, so well within ADA. And the ramps are 5 feet wide. Wheelchairs require 36 inches, which means you got a wheelchair that you meet on the ramp, you got a problem. So the top of the area where you go up a ramp and make the turn and then go up the next ramp, that is 6 feet wide, which allows if you have two wheelchairs meet, they can pass at that. What else do you want to talk about?
What's the footage of the whole addition box there where the ramp's going to be?
That's first-class question. I have the footage, but I'll have to dig it out here.
Not square footage, just the footage
Just
out.
footage.
You mean the length and the
Yep.
width?
Yeah.
The building length is roughly 61 feet here,
Okay.
building, which means that this is going to be something less.
It looks like it takes up about 3/4 of it, or maybe a little
does.
more even.
It does. It's in here somewhere. I can get that for you.
Okay, I was actually more interested in how far to the edge of the parking lot
It
it
goes
actually,
to the edge of the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's it.
I know, but which edge? The back edge or the front edge or the building edge?
The edge of the parking lot that is closest to the building.
Okay,
That answer your question?
yeah, I think so, but still, I'd like a specific
All right.
number.
All right, if you want to pursue this concept, then what I will do is go out and get you some rough construction costs. Site preparation, foundations, the cost of the ramp system, which I see as welded aluminum with appropriate treads for anti-slip so that wheelchairs don't have a slip problem. Roughly framing costs, roughly roof costs. And what I would do, if this was my building, I would put in a couple of skylights.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Does this compromise the windows on the back of the building?
Certainly does. So the skylights would help with that, and the skylights would also allow you to have lighting on the
Your
ramp.
office, would your office be in that, under that roof?
Yeah, my window would look over the ramps, I think.
So it would be inside that,
Right, the windows are shown.
your window.
Those windows are shown here.
Yeah, okay, so so one of those is Justin's window.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, two of them actually are. I think that's like
Yeah, there
two
are
of my
there are
windows.
4 windows total.
And
on
then the
roof.
bathroom window. And then the window that's if you're like in the library looking back towards the fire door, there's a window on the right-hand side in the children's, what is now the early readers room. And that, all of those would look just over the ramps instead of outside.
And if you want to proceed with this, then I would also include Justin, forget, whoever you are.
I'm Justin.
Yeah, you got it right.
Would also include taking out the furnace and putting a handicap toilet in that area.
Oh,
You
really?
talked about also.
Huh, cool.
So I would include that in the cost so that you get a look at the whole thing the way you want it. And then you can start hacking away with stuff you don't want, like not having a handicap toilet in the basement.
Okay, I have a couple questions. I'm a little confused. this is going to be an access from the back of the building.
Correct.
Okay. So there's going to be a ramp at the back of the building, right?
A series of them, yes.
Okay.
Four to get
When
from
someone
the,
gets to the top, let me finish my question, okay?
yeah,
When someone gets to the top of the ramp, now where do they go?
in through your current door into the first floor. Not the basement, but
But it's in the back of the building. How do you go through the current door?
The fire door.
So that would have to be an automatic door, because it would be for handicapped accessibility. You'd have to have
yes.
a button push, so that would be included in
Yeah,
the
and
cost.
handicap getting into this whole effort also.
So I'm still, okay, where does that door, I'm not familiar with the fire escape door. Where does that come on the inside of the building? Where does that open into?
If you walk into the front of the building, turn right at the circulation desk, there's the sort of children's half of the library. And then to the left, in that room, there's a big metal door that has the metal shelves that go down to the parking lot in the back.
Okay.
So that's where it would be.
The
It
fire
would be
escape-
that door,
The fire escape.
the fire escape door.
Okay,
And then if you're in the basement, like if you come in, the new door into the ramp, we'll call it Ramp City, and go down, then you would come out at where the children's door is right now in the children's room, the children's programming room.
And I would propose
so
that
if you
that
go
door,
down there, how do you get outside? You have to go back up the ramp?
You have to go back up the ramps
or up the stairs.
or stairs.
Well, I'm considering this as from a handicap perspective because this is why we're doing it. So I'm considering someone using a wheelchair. I'm just trying to visualize it.
I sent pictures in an email a while back, and those
No, I
pictures are
did. I
of this
saw
model.
those, and I'm still trying to figure out where it fits into the building and how it, okay, then the other thing is, are we gonna deal, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, I'm good.
All right, and I would propose that basement door gets revised so that there are no steps up out of your basement.
Yeah.
It's
It'd have to be graded down.
graded down, yeah. And Justin, if you wish, I will leave this with you so that, I didn't catch your name,
Danielle.
Danielle, so that Danielle can see it, you can walk them through it.
Okay, yep, I can take it back to the library.
Yes, that would be great.
Oh, I see. So
If I
this,
see it,
you'd go
like,
down
actually
here.
3D.
Yeah.
I'm a multi-sensory learner, okay?
It's helpful to see it in 3D.
I have a question, Dick, would it be, and maybe we're getting ahead of of it now, but would it be possible to have the roof be something that's more transparent, like you might see on a greenhouse or in some elevators? I don't know,
Yeah.
is there a way to do that so that the light would, inside the building wouldn't be
You can do
impacted?
that. Yeah,
It might be more expensive, I
This is the south
suppose.
side of the building,
Yeah,
which means that in the winter, the sun doesn't blast in. In the summer, the sun's up here, so you're going to get a lot of light in there, and that's a potential problem.
If you had a
Heat.
clear roof, yeah.
In the summer, when the sun shines in, it's going to heat up the area.
oh, so you don't want to do that?
No, but with the,
No, but it's on the south side, so that would be, that's
Yeah,
the north
but in the
side.
summertime, the sun's up here. In the wintertime, the sun's over there.
Okay, so it's not a good idea.
I would submit that you want some skylights there, but maybe not the whole thing. Am I
Is
done?
there any thought into, and again, this is not part of this package, into a handicap bathroom? Once we do this, don't we have to have a handicap bathroom?
I think he already talked about that.
Yeah, you already have one on the first floor, right?
Well, it's not handicap accessible, but he said that one of the things that he would go out to quote for us
Very easily accessible.
would be putting a restroom in the current furnace room area.
But you would also need one on the first floor.
No.
No, I think we can get away with
As
one.
long as you have one, you have to have one that's accessible.
Okay.
Because I asked the Massachusetts Office on Disability that question whenever we were, with our last scheme that we were thinking about trying to make work. And we can get a waiver for one unisex
If they're on the first floor and
restroom.
have to go to the bathroom, it's over the river and through the woods, through the thing, down into the basement.
Pretty much. Of course, that was assuming an elevator, so I don't know if
Right.
having ramps instead of an elevator changes that waiver requirement. I'd have to poke it and see.
Right.
And I don't know that answer either.
I have another question. This is maybe in the weeds a bit, but you said that the width of it was to accommodate a 36-inch wheelchair, and that meets the ADA requirement, right?
Yes.
So I've seen some wheelchairs now that it seems like they're even wider. Would that be a problem?
In that case, what I would do is make them wider in here, so we would,
Well, yeah, I mean, meeting ADA is sufficient, I think, but it's just as a practical matter, it seems like sometimes now,
I agree.
some wheelchairs are even
We
to
wouldn't do
accommodate
it.
extra wide people.
yeah, I've seen those wheelchairs.
But
They
so
don't take
would
up
that,
They don't take up the 5-foot width, but they take up a lot.
well, yeah, that's why I was
So we make-
asking the
I
question.
mean,
Is
5
that-
feet is a lot.
No, I know, and I'm just saying, I'm sure it
Yeah,
would
and those
accommodate.
power wheelchairs can get really big too.
Yeah, right.
But that should still fit.
My thought is that, what are the odds of that happening?
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as we meet the ADA requirement, I think we're okay.
Exactly,
And-
right.
But I just wanted to ask the question anyway,
No,
so we know.
that's what we're here for, right?
So who reviews the ADA stuff? Is it our building inspector or
The architect.
the architect does
Yeah.
it? So we still have to hire an architect? Can you put that in your
Yeah.
estimate of how much you
But I,
sort of think that an architect would cost to do something like this? Even though you're doing the roughness first?
you're talking to Mr. Cheap here.
Yeah.
I have an idea of how you can get the architect very cheaply.
Oh, yeah?
And I started to pursue it, and I found out that I was talking to the wrong people, so I got to change the thinking.
Okay, change your voice.
But if we could get a school, a college, for instance, to take this on as a project
Yeah,
for student learning, we
yeah,
aren't going to get it in a hurry,
yeah.
but you will get it on the cheap.
Yeah, it's like getting dental work done
Then
from a
we'd have our
dental
building
school.
inspector work with them to make sure that they didn't miss anything.
So how many architectural schools? There's RISD and then a lot in Boston, I guess.
The only thing I have left is the outside of the building on the library is brick. This is what I would recommend you put on the outside of an addition, artificial brick,
Yeah.
because you have to put something out there,
Yeah,
so make it look like it.
that makes sense.
Cool.
Any other questions?
So ADA doesn't care if you have a ramps or elevator.
No,
It
the
doesn't make a
access,
difference to them as long as there's access.
legal access,
Yep.
yeah. Which was,
Well, like the post office, right?
Yeah,
This is All
exactly.
there is a ramp. There's
Yeah.
no other way to get inside.
Yep.
in this case, you don't have this distance
Or
to
this
go
building,
up.
for that matter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, I think Dick first brought this to me like, it was well before the pandemic, and then, he wanted to present it to you guys. And,
Boy.
but he had built the model, so it didn't make sense to really do until we could meet in person again.
Yeah.
I think it's really intriguing.
It is, yeah.
I don't want to make a pun, but we're thinking outside the box.
That's right.
Yeah, there's some little issues, like your heat AC unit is currently inside here.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to move it out, so that's added cost.
Yep.
But if you want to, I'll give you a rough estimate of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think we want, yeah.
That would be
I'd vote
amazing,
for
yeah.
that.
Danielle, you're the
vote?
chair, right?
I'm good, I'm all set. I appreciate your time and
Do you need a motion
to do what?
to ask Dick to develop a rough estimate for all of this?
And to pursue the architectural aspect?
Well,
I mean, is that a separate motion?
And
I'll entertain a motion to do what Ellie said.
Whatever.
I got it
Ellie
right.
said.
What did you just say? They used to do that to me at meeting. What did you just say?
Yeah.
to ask Mr. Skinner.
And then she has to write it down.
so what
Yeah.
I propose to you is give you an Excel spreadsheet with all the numbers.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And the numbers will not be exact. They will be ballpark, range. For one, you may have noticed we're headed into a period of substantial inflation,
Oh, yeah.
and building materials have
Especially,
just
yeah.
gone right out of sight. So whatever we do now is whatever we do now.
Is there any sight in the future that it's going to go down ever? I mean, why is it up so high?
Why is the cost?
Yeah.
Building materials have already started down.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
so-
not so as you'd notice, but they have.
Yeah.
Well, at least they've stopped, yeah, they've stopped accelerating, right? So plateauing anyway, picked it down.
But my projection is we are in a period of inflation. Hang on.
Okay, so it's been moved, but we need it seconded this to ask Mr. Skinner for a rough estimate for this work.
Okay. We got a second?
Second?
Are we good? We have a second?
Yep, second.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't hear the second. All right, all those in
math.
favor?
All right.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a further discussion. Let's move
Oh,
back.
yeah.
I'm confused now. All right.
Unvote the
Are
vote.
we all set? Do we have any questions or further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right.
Thank you for the work.
Thank you for the.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you're project manager now.
Yes.
Wouldn't be the first time. Not on building, though.
Briefly, could you just like tell them your background and all this and why you're interested in it? And
My background is very varied on the engineering side of the house. I've been, I think it's 5 different kinds of engineers. After they told me in high school that I never could be one, so I just decided to go do it. I have done models of my houses. I've built a house and modified a house. I made models for both of them so people could see my family could see what we were talking about. A lot of people have trouble
Yeah.
converting drawings into 3-dimensional.
Yep.
And I got one of those quirky minds that can sit down and rotate the 3-dimensional model. It scares me sometimes, but it's fun. And I just finished doing a spreadsheet for the Board of Health so we can add 1 or 2 compactors up in the town transfer station. And that required going, looking at all the details that were required to get there to make sure it made sense, financial sense to do adding the compactors. And it does, big time.
Oh,
Happy?
yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Very
Thank you
cool.
for all your time. Okay.
Now we'll wait for numbers.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so will I.
Jen?
You want a
No, I'm
number?
sorry, I'm just trying to move things
yep,
along.
yep.
300,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Just what you're thinking off the top of your head?
I can't find my things.
I won't quote you.
Very thing. You guys have your paper in front of you, I don't.
Director's report.
Yes, I'm opening it up again.
Go back.
Somehow I lost it. director's report, I'll catch up.
Okay, so I will try to make it quick. The reclassification project is now 87.8% done. Most of the work remaining is in the attic. We've got nonfiction up there, we've got biographies, we've got fiction. It's been weeded down, but there's still a lot up there. On the main floor, I think the only thing left is music CDs, and some of the fiction collection has yet to be reclassified. There's been a lot of positive feedback on getting the collections for the kids parsed out into age-appropriate segments. It's made it a lot easier for parents and for kids who come in looking for something to just be able to go to their section of the library now and find their stuff. And the teens seem to be happy that they can go into the loft again, so everyone's happy. One thing, though, while we were doing the reclassification, is we did something a couple years ago that did not make people happy. And that is when we tried to reclassify the biographies into the Dewey numbers that are relevant to their subject matter. For example, getting Einstein in the 500s, putting, Rihanna and Beyonce in the 700s, so that they would be with the music part of the nonfiction collection instead of in biographies and memoirs. So we have been kind of undoing that as we've been moving along. We've been reclassifying items as biographies when they are, more or less biographies and don't have to do more with the subject material, and moving the biographies out into the foyer. We've struggled for a long time with what to do with the foyer. Initially, I wanted it to be DVDs. Whenever Rocheleau built those shelves, they were sized to fit either DVDs or paperbacks, but the paperbacks weren't circulating, so that collection got weeded down. Those that do circulate don't last, so it's a small collection. And the DVDs, there's just too many. It's the opposite problem. So we've had large print out there. We've had, right now I've got puzzles out there in paperbacks. The puzzles and the paperbacks I'm going to find a new home for. We're going to bring all the biographies and memoirs that are in the attic down out of the attic, get them reintegrated into the main collection, and that entire room is going to be biographies and memoirs, which seems to be something that people want. There are people, I think Betty is one of those people, and my wife is one of those people.
I found some bees the other day.
They
Great news.
they come to the library looking for stories about people. They want, I don't know, humans. Some people find humans interesting. So the biographies are going to have their own home, their own space. The only thing is I'm going to have to be cognizant of adjusting the light, because right now the inside lights are on the same timer as the outside security light. So the outside security light is going to be on during the daytime a lot, because you want the foyer lights on too, but it is an LED, so keeping it on for more probably costs, a couple bucks a year. The story walks are up. There's one on the Southern New England Trunk Line Trail. There's one in the Douglas Orchard and Farm. Thanks to Danielle, who did the hard work of laminating and taping them together. We've got them adhered to signboards. Basically, I put them together exactly the way DCR told me they wanted them to put together. I wanted to do kind of a taller sign.
Yes, and I have a comment, a couple comments. I've seen both of them. I think they look great. I'm happy to see my work up there. But nobody knows they're there. Okay? I went to the concert Saturday at the Orchard. There were multiple families with kids roaming around through the orchard, blueberries, and not one person went near that story walk. The same thing today, I drove up to the one on the trunk line, and I'm like, okay, Justin said in his newsletter you can't miss it. Well, I pretended like I didn't know where I was, and I drove to the end of the road, and you can very well miss it unless you know where it is. It's in a beautiful spot. But I think we need some more, whatever it is, something that's going to draw people's attention to where the story walk begins. Like at the Orchard, if we could do a sign, if they let us put up a sign, like at the beginning of the blueberry patch, there's a board right there, story walk with an arrow, and then something there that stands up. And the same thing at the trunk line. I'm against balloons. I don't like my balloons, no, I'm against them. But is there something we could add to catch people's eyes at the beginning?
At the farm, I think that we could put up a sign next to where they have that sort of donation jar at the parking lot. I mean, at the farm, they'll let us do whatever we want to do, because, I mean,
Right.
Nick is Nick and Aaron is Aaron, and they're awesome. On the trunk line trail, I don't know how much more I can do, because they want it to be, they don't want it to, like, detract from the natural ambiance of the trail for someone who's not interested in the story walk. They want it there, and they want it findable, but they don't want it, like, in your face. So I would have to talk to them again to find out what they would let us do
Some
first.
little, you know how it starts there on the trunk line? Just something. If people aren't sure where they're going, a pinwheel or something that takes a kid's eye to where it is, you know?
Because we have a lot of extra signs. The way that we had to order like the signs, we have extras. So, I mean, it would be easy to make like another sign that says story walk with an arrow pointing somewhere,
Right.
which maybe I could put like in that parking lot on the SNET.
Yes, yeah, that would be perfect, because that's where I stopped, and it's like, well, people would stop here, but unless you go that extra, 10 feet, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, where is it?
Yeah, we're going to have to check on them tomorrow anyway, so we can do that tomorrow
Okay,
if it storms tonight.
but I think it looks great. I think it's great.
And somebody posted about them on Dynamic Douglas too. Somebody who wasn't even a kid. And was like, oh, look what I found. They're awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's great.
So the
That's all
other
I had on that.
things are, the shelving from Dimco has been delivered. It is put up, and we've got graphic novels on it. So if you want to come see the new shelves at the library, they are now up. Regarding the other shelves, Grafton's move date keeps getting kind of pushed back because, moving a library is complicated business. But I'll be meeting with Beth in Grafton to kind of case the joint, look for the shelves that we want the week of August 9th. And then they have to be out of there by the end of August. Did I not put that date in here?
Yeah.
August 27th, yeah. So the shelves have to be out by August 27th, ideally. And I think that these dates are good. I mean, I don't think that they can stay in the space, in their temporary space, any longer than that. And communication with Beth has been kind of spotty because she's really busy. But the potential for the free shelves it hasn't gone away, it's just getting pushed back.
Can I ask something about the Demco? Mm-hmm. Where are they? What
There,
room?
if you go into the library, turn to the right.
So it's in the children's.
It's on the children's side, in between the two rooms. So they're in front of the columns.
Okay.
MBLC hotspots should be arriving tomorrow, after which we can configure them and start circulating internet to people, which will be fun. We have hired, I've offered temporary letter of employment to Michelle Mowry, who volunteered for us extensively and has worked as a library assistant in Whitensville to cover Rebecca's maternity leave. So in case anyone hasn't figured it out yet, Rebecca's due and is going to deliver. She's scheduled for the last week in September. So she's going to take 3 months off, and Michelle's going to fill in. And then Rebecca will come back and things will go back to normal, hopefully. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in my director's report is, unless there's an outcry, I want to shift collection development strategy this year. For the last 2-3 years, I've been focusing a lot on digital material in Overdrive. And this year, for 3 main reasons, I want to I want to spend a lot more on physical material than I have digital. The primary reason for this is that the MBLC, despite assurances over the last 3 years are still not counting Overdrive Advantage titles that are shared with the consortium towards non-resident circulations. That's part of the calculation of our library incentive and municipal equalization grant disbursement. So to make a long story short, if we loan a book to a patron from another library that has the other library as their home library, we do get money. We get like 14 cents or something like that. If we loan an ebook that has been shared, we don't get that. And I raised a stink about that whenever we first started purchasing Overdrive Advantage titles, because there's a lot of ones that make sense to buy if you plan on sharing, like ones that have, ones that expire in 2 years, or ones that are good for either so many circs or so many years. Because like if we buy an item that is limited to either 2 years or 30 circs, it makes sense to keep it for Douglas until it's no longer circing, and then share it with the consortium, so that the license we can get the most value out of it consortium-wide before it goes away. But a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, it was like right before the pandemic started, they started the cost per circ option. So a lot of the items, we can pay a certain amount of money per circulation. Right now, I have everything that's $2 and below enabled, and that's only open to Douglas residents, basically. So like someone with a different home library can't do that.
So Justin, are you saying that hard copy, an actual book, you're going to get paid for?
Yes.
When someone else takes it out, another town?
Mm-hmm.
It's always been paid for.
Mm-hmm.
That's been paid for. It's the ebooks that haven't been.
But ebooks have not been, and I've been trying to get the people at the MBLC to factor ebooks into that formula, and they haven't. And this is the 3rd year, so now I'm kind of tired of it, and I don't want to keep, even though, I don't think it's a bad thing still to buy ebooks. But I think, it kind of is a stance libraries need to take to send a message to the MBLC that, because these are not cheap licenses. They are expensive licenses. They're a lot more expensive than regular books. And, it's a better thing to have to share with the rest of the consortium too, because it cuts out delivery cost. They can be shared between consortiums easily. I check out books from Clams and from Minuteman all the time via Libby. The fact that libraries aren't being compensated for providing those materials and sharing them with everybody else is ridiculous. It makes me mad. So I don't want to buy any more of them until they do.
For example, I have a card both with, CW Mars and Clams, and so right now I have 3 books. I have a 6-month wait for ebooks on 3 different books. And if I go to Clams, sometimes I can go back and forth, and sometimes I'll get it and one doesn't, but I don't understand why it can't just, I don't know. I guess it's the licensing.
A lot of it is also just the way we have it put together, because we're asking Overdrive to do a lot. It's a platform that's built for a library to buy digital materials to give to their patrons. In Massachusetts, we have these library consortiums, these automated resource sharing networks. So now all of a sudden, just when CWMRs, you've got 150 some odd libraries all trying to share with each other, and they want to be able to buy their own stuff, but they want the collective pool as well. And now we're linking the different consortiums together, each which have their libraries. So like whenever you are searching Overdrive, it'll automatically search CWMRs. So if we have it available as a Douglas patron, then you will have, you'll have dibs on it. If there's a library in CWMRs that has it, and they've shared it, then you also have dibs on it. The consortial collection as a whole, you have dibs on it, but you can't, the system doesn't automatically trawl out to the rest of the consortiums, so you have to manually add them in, which you can use your CWMR's library card to do, but you have to do a separate search for sales, for Noble, for all of these other consortiums, which is useful if you don't want to have to wait for a book, but it's troublesome. But that's, That's off topic. The topic was, contributing to this pool, you should get the same level of compensation you get for
I
sharing a
agree.
book, and you don't.
I totally agree.
But, there's more than just resentment and rage behind this decision. I also want to try to lure some patrons back into the library who have gone completely digital over the last couple of years. And, over the course of reclassifying the collection, we're handling every individual book. It's like coming off the shelf to the desk, getting new stickers, getting new labels, and a lot of them need replaced. And we need to spend some of our book budget this year, replacing copies of classics and of highly used books, which are really on their last legs and being held together with tape and glue.
That's one that I question, but it's probably just me, because the classics and the well-used ones, there are multiple copies throughout CW Mars, and you get it in a day or two, So I don't see the point of, especially when you have to weed so much to make room for new books, so.
Exactly, good point.
So I'm not big on that one. But
It's not a lot, to be honest. It's not a huge amount, but we do have a lot of, our copy of Moby Dick is one of those 99-cent Walmart specials that somebody bought in the 1990s, which the edges are crumbling on and it's taped. that I would replace. If it's a hardback that can
But
still
how many
get
times
starts.
has it actually gone out? You have to look at that end of it, too.
We look at that, too. And if it hasn't gone out in the last 2
10 years or 2 years, yeah.
and, doesn't have some sort of other value to the collection, we've already tossed it. It's already been weeded. It's like right now, we have an incredibly lean and weeded collection, with the exception of what's in the attic, thanks to this reclassification project and the weeding we've done before. So, everything we have now is an active title.
Right.
And that's all of my director's report. That's all done.
Great. Very good. Under old business, under building projects. Let's look at electrical system, interior plastering.
Still waiting for Jeff to reach a point where he can finish installing the outlets. Jay Baker is going to give us a quote on the interior paint and plastering work that needs to be done in advance of Fall Town meeting. I've reached out to him, and he'll do it.
So the lab code, how is that going to go on? Will that be covered under what we currently have, or are we looking for?
No, what I want is to get his quote so that we can word that into an article at Fall Town meeting.
For what? An article for what?
For fixing the interior cracks in the plaster and repainting.
So what I'm saying is you're going to request money from the town in addition to,
Yes.
yes, okay, no, that's great, no, that's fine. Just- Yep. Okay. Attic door does not sound good.
Well, there's just been no progress. Brian LaValle said he had an engineer friend who could draw up a sketch for the work that would need to be done, and that hasn't panned out. I got in touch with the building inspector because he wasn't happy with the fact that the attic doesn't have smoke detectors. And yet, Custom Alarm, our fire service, said they thought that was completely unnecessary. They said they would do it if we asked them to, but they didn't recommend it by any stretch of the imagination, and haven't heard back from him either. So, this is a project I need to come up with another strategy of coming at, because the one I've been waiting for is not working.
All right, too bad you put a lot of work and time into things, and then you're still at square one. But anyhow, under other,
There is other this time. Adam's most recent building inspection revealed that there was some window trim on the basement door underneath the fire stairs leading into the furnace room that was completely rotted through, and it needed replaced. So I got a quote from Brian LaValle. He fixed it. this morning, actually, like time from quote to repair was less than a week. And so the window has been repaired, resealed, repainted for a cost of $498.47. We have operational money for that budgeted now, so we don't have to pay for it out of any special accounts.
Excellent, excellent. Under grants and the capital campaign, how are we doing?
Not much change since last meeting. We're at $102,812.60.
Yeah, things are moving, getting something. All right. 25.7%, 400,000. That's a good goal. That's a good, what do you want to say, Mark?
Mark.
Yep, very.
All right. Under other. LRP updates.
Only long-range plan update I have is that, one of the things was to start Saturday programs for adults. And we're restarting the Sci-Fi Book Club, which was the Saturday morning program I had for adults, but everyone voted to move it to Tuesday nights. So now it's another Tuesday night program. Alas.
Meeting night. Great. How about Friends, Ellie?
Friends had a meeting last Saturday, and there's a bunch of us there. And our next meeting is August 21st, and it's all to do with auction planning that will be from the auction that we are repeating, like from last year, again this year, and it will be October 2nd to October 16th this year. Justin has done something, I think he sent it to all of us, a note about it this afternoon, about the donation form.
Oh, I just sent it to you and Donna and Carolyn Dorval for proofreading first.
Okay, I thought
So
it was called.
it's 90% of the way there, but it's not live yet.
So that would allow us, which is great, I think, that Justin did this, to, instead of having everybody sort of pick and choose who they want to donate something to the auction, this would allow a form similar to how to get a library card from the library. It's using that same format. And it would request, a donation to the auction and a description and stuff like that. I haven't actually looked at what it came up with because I thought it was sent to all of us. So. But I had only read everything, 5 minutes before I got here. So
I only got it done 5 minutes before we got here. So.
Yeah. But I think that will be a really helpful tool for getting donations, and that we can, give it to Dawn to put on social media, and people might respond more so than they do if they have in the past or the last year, So that's exciting, I think. One of the people that has joined the committee this year her name is Joanne Mora, I think. And she's making Afghans or blankets of some sort. I think they're quilted blankets, which reflect the Boston teams, like the Celtics and the Bruins and the Patriots and Red Sox. And then she wrote to us this weekend, and I've been working on this, that we should also contact the four teams, the Boston teams, and we could get a donation that would be like an autographed, pair of sneakers or something like that. I don't know what it would be, but it would be something that we could sell at the auction. And since
How
they're...
about tickets to a game?
No, they don't do tickets to any games. None of them do. So, but yeah, but it's,
I would bid on that.
well, there's so many, exactly, there's so many sports nuts in New England that,
Okay.
yeah. That,
Just leave
I
it at
think
that.
that's a nice
I
place to
would
reach
take
out
that
to.
Personally.
So that's exciting too. And that's all I can think of. Unless
Great, sounds
you
good.
remember anything more from that meeting, Justin, I don't know.
Well, there'll be a book sale at Oktoberfest.
Yeah, yeah.
Dick has a question.
Just an observation. Are you aware that Dairy Queen offers money to nonprofit groups?
No, I'll get a hold of them too. But I need my 501c3.
I sent it to you right before the meeting.
Okay, because I looked at my zip drive or whatever those little things are called, thinking, oh, I must have it. I think I've asked for this before, but I can't find it anywhere. So it might have got misplaced from different computers or something like that.
I've got about 50 hard copies too, so.
So what
So it
Dairy
is-
Queen offers you is 10% of the profits for a night. And so they tell you the
Oh,
night,
yeah,
advertise the night,
yeah.
and it doesn't matter who goes there. It could be Milford, Hopedale, doesn't matter.
Okay,
It
yeah.
all comes to the designated.
Yeah, there was one, and I can't think of the name of it, it was more of a bar place that does it as well. Piccadilly Pub, maybe, something like that, you know?
99s,
No, I don't know, but so it's, which one, Dairy Queen?
Queen.
Dairy Queen, Milford.
Milford, okay. But.
Piccadilly Pub's gone.
But you had to tell them, you had to say, here's my coupon. But this sounds like it's much easier, you don't have to bring
If you
anything.
talk to them, they'll give you the rules.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Right. Other old business. I think we've already taken care of the first item under new business. We have other new business. Hearing none.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, there is another new
Sorry,
business thing, which I added to the agenda,
Remote meetings?
the remote meetings,
Oh.
because,
Oh, yeah. What happened with that?
well, we didn't get enough of a response from the trustee, so I couldn't pursue it any further. You know, you have to have a majority, and,
Oh, you didn't mail the letter?
no, I didn't.
Oh,
Because I only got
Got it.
response from 3 people, so, you know, that's not a majority, so, you know, so I couldn't do anything. So I did
wondered where
actually,
that went.
I talked to one of the selectmen, and they,
Ortiz?
no, he's not a selectman anymore,
Oh,
you know.
that's right. That voted out. Oh,
They're down to 4, but anyway, I talked to one, and they brought it up, but they couldn't have it put on the agenda because I talked to this selectman after their agenda for last week had been posted, and it was too late to add it to the agenda. So he brought it up at the meeting, just at the very beginning, and said, I've had requests, and then two of the other selectmen, I said, I'm pretty sure, also agreed with him that they had had requests for remote meetings as well. So they're going to discuss it at the next meeting, which is next week, next Tuesday, which was the first Tuesday of whatever. So,
August.
yeah, August, whatever. I don't know when it is. Is August Friday, is that August 1st, or?
All right, so my question
Sunday.
/ comment is, the Board of Selectmen have priority over the governor governor's decisions. Because you clearly showed that the state is allowing remote meetings to next March. But the Board of Selectmen are saying they supersede that.
When did they say that?
Well, by them saying, denying us the right to do it.
Well, they made their vote on remote meetings on June 1st or June 2nd. The governor's stuff didn't come out until June 16th. And so they had not considered what the governor had said. Now, there were a couple of things. One was, one of the selectmen had said that they had watched some of the meetings and they were actually being held remotely. So a lot of the committees around here, town committees, aren't following the guidelines that the selectmen have enacted, put to rule. And then other ones, it just isn't, it's just the same way as we
It's not
are.
being enforced anywhere. It's not being enforced.
No, it's consistently. So, because and nobody knows how to interpret it either. So,
I thought it was pretty clear.
how so?
The governor's statement from Massachusetts,
No,
it's pretty
that,
clear that remote
That is.
meeting can continue at least through March 2022.
no, it's April 1st. Ha ha.
End of March.
Yeah. But why do you say the Board of Selectmen have priority over the government meeting? I haven't heard that yet.
See, that's,
Well, I mean, I think it's just precluded by the very fact that I emailed Matt asking if we could meet remotely now that the governor had made that decree, and he said no.
Well, the selectmen said they hadn't heard that. They did not know about the governor's writing into law that.
How could they not know?
I don't know, because I sent this selectman, a copy of the Attorney General's stuff. And they weren't aware of it, so, but,
All right.
It's fun. Government, communication.
Okay, all righty then.
So do,
so now we'll be listening closely. I will be, I'm not coming to the meeting on Tuesday to see what they come up with. First, their agenda will be posted Friday sometime, or maybe Thursday afternoon, evening. But you definitely can see their agenda online on
And when are
Friday.
they scheduled to meet again?
Tuesday, this next Tuesday. I don't know what the date is.
must be,
I don't know when, what?
must be the 3rd.
Should be the
August.
3rd of August? Okay.
It'll be in August.
Okay. And so from that meeting, I think we can find out whether we can do all of this remotely or not. But
Yeah.
Okay.
from the look of three of us, it looks like we're not too happy about the way COVID is going right now, so.
Somebody could come to the
Exactly.
selectmen's
There you
meeting if they
go.
wanted to and comment on it.
Yeah, they could. I'm not coming, but Danielle, if you want to come, that's fine, or any of you.
Or I think you can go online and comment
Oh.
from online.
Perhaps, yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what comes of it.
So I don't know if you want to vote on it, just because we do have a quorum here.
Yes, okay, that would be a good idea, excellent point. So we could vote on if the Board of Library Trustees is in favor of continuing remote meetings as long as possible through the end of March 2022, or until the state says otherwise. What do you think of that?
I think we have to do it through cable, though, right? Because you need this option for anybody that wants to attend the meeting as well. And I don't think you can do it through yours because you,
The hybrid, it's a matter of like hardware more than software. If you want to have a hybrid Zoom meeting, the fact that this room has each of us mic'd, it has the screen and the speakers. Because if I tried to do a hybrid meeting, I would be limited to do it on a laptop, which would mean, or my phone, which would mean, whoever was Zooming in would be here.
Right.
And would be able to hear me, but nothing else. That's why I haven't, been able to do, it's nothing to do with our Zoom account, and it's just everything to do with the physical setup.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the trustees were doing it entirely virtual, then it wouldn't matter.
Right.
Can we
It's a
call into the
combination.
Zoom meetings? Today's meeting, could we call into it?
yeah.
That's what
she's doing.
Danielle did.
That's what she's doing. Anyone who has the link
No,
can
she's
join.
not on the phone, she's,
Yeah,
Oh, you mean
it
with
should
the
work same
telephone?
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could just call the one of those numbers there?
Yep. Should work the same way. I was told as long as the meeting was able to be recorded, it was fine. Didn't matter what platformer that you used.
Yeah, but I thought it had to
Everybody in town is
be,
supposed to know how to get into it.
yeah,
Right,
but,
so you have to send the link ahead of
That didn't
time,
happen today.
and they post the link.
yeah, it was very late in the,
Yeah, but if we're having our own meeting and it's entirely virtual, I think we could use the library's Zoom account as long as we recorded it, right?
Yeah, but
Does
no.
it have to be the
That's what we've
cables?
been doing.
That's what we've
yeah,
done
but
for the last.
if you read the law, or the Attorney General's thoughts on everything, it has to be live. You have to, I mean, it does go on eventually onto the YouTube stuff that we use, the cable uses.
Well,
But,
it did.
I
The old
know,
meetings did.
they weren't
weren't live.
live for the
Oh, no.
world to see. They were
They
live
were
for
there, but
just,
they weren't live.
yeah,
You could see them later.
yeah.
So the meeting is supposed to be live concurrent with,
Right.
of course,
And
is this
that's why-
meeting live? Like, are we live, right? Well, we're
We're-
in person, so it doesn't matter.
But the other thing is that if there's no.
Is that okay? Do you know?
Using.
I'm a little confused on where we're at with it, but, I mean, right now, this meeting is technically live through the Zoom, but it's not live anywhere here. This will be uploaded and played later on.
And that's okay? Hunky
That's how we
dory,
do almost everything
go.
except for the Board of Selectmen,
okay.
so. Board of
But as
Selectmen
far
do-
as,
And that's, nobody's arrested you yet?
Not yet.
Because if you provide the link, then other people can technically join and be live if they want. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing.
Okay,
but the thing is, you post the link, so anyone can anyone click on the link and attend the meeting because it's an open meeting, right?
yeah, I don't think it works that way, though, because nobody's gonna,
No, I thought it did. And I'm mistaken on that. I thought that was,
so we could do it through,
Should, that's the
We
point
could
of having the link up there.
Yes, all the,
Anybody who goes on the website and
Yeah.
finds the link can get in.
all the commissions, when like the Conservation Commission, if there was a link and you could sign in during the meeting, a lot of people presented that way.
And you don't have to have a Zoom account set up by cable, because
No,
anybody
no.
who gets that link from anywhere can call in that number.
Yeah.
Because cable's not going to everybody's verifying all their Zoom accounts.
Yeah, I think that we can use our Zoom for completely virtual meetings as long as the link is posted out there available and anyone can come in. It's just for hybrid meetings, I wouldn't be able to do.
But you do need a gatekeeper. Somebody has to say you can join the meeting,
Yeah, I have a waiting room.
We did
a
that.
waiting room.
Yeah, we did that.
Well, we didn't once. We got Zoom bombed.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll second your motion, Danielle.
Okay,
What was the motion now? I forgot.
Board of Trustees are in favor of continuing
Okay.
remote meetings.
any discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so that should count as a unanimous vote from the board as to what our intentions or requests would be.
So is the next meeting going to be virtual on August 20th?
Well, no, we got to wait for, we've supported this now, but now we have to wait and see if the selectmen
Yeah.
change
so-
their thing and realize that remote is allowed till the end of March, at
Right.
least.
I mean, this puts, I mean, I feel like I need to resign as the chair because I have commitments here where, and today actually was kind of a day where I really, really needed to be here, where I'm torn and I can't always commit to in-person, late in the day meetings. So I'm hoping that they'll see things our way. For now, anyhow. So, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Next meeting, August 24th at 4 PM. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
And what's your time there, 5, 8, or 10, 12, 13? What time is it, Daniel?
5:12.
It is
Or
5:14, based on the clock on the wall
No, we're
there.
looking at the real
And
clocks.
technically on my computer, it says 5:12, so.
Okay, 5:12 it is then.